Do you experience stiffness and pain in the hip and knee joints? How we stand affects our whole body. It can create tension and tightness, throwing off your balance, and also create pain in other areas of the body like the lower back, spine, and even neck and shoulders. Chronic knee and hip pain can also affect daily activity levels. I want you to feel your best and live your best life. These simple and effective exercises will help relieve pain while building strength and stability. They'll increase hip and knee mobility so you can get back to your favorite activities as soon as possible. Let's get started. Our goal when we start is to take a moment and to see how we feel, to check in with what's normal for us. So we're trying to create a new normal with our feet perfectly straight and our knees in line with our lower back relaxed. The big aspect to this is finding the rotation in our hips. So we're not just slamming the knees out to the side, it's a rotation in our hips to bring that weight centered in our feet. Then we have the relaxing of the lower back. When we relax this down, it helps us to unlock the knees. We don't want to be tilting it so far forward that we're really crunching through the abs and pushing with so much force that we're creating tension. We want to think about dropping the tailbone down just a little bit. So just enough that you can find that sinking into your legs. Let's talk about how we fold into our hips and our knees. This is a big part of our practice. So when we sink into our knees, they're going to stay in line with our foot direction. We're going to focus in on relaxing that tailbone down, and we're going to lean slightly. So we're going to move up and down. Staying where you are, I'm going to turn so that you can see that folding. So we're not going to stay vertical. Can you fold into your hips a little bit? So find the movement where the weight is centered and we're really focused on those knees being over the toe direction, and we're having that length through our lower back as we sink down. So we're not going to keep it out. Tuck everything down, relax, and lift through the crown of your head, and just find this up and down movement first. This is a big part of our Qigong and Tai Chi practice, is keeping our knees in line. This comes from inner thigh strength, from hip flexibility, and relaxing our waist or tucking our tailbone down. So we see this in like water's wave. So right now we're going to start with like water's wave, being aware of the lower body more than anything. So we have strength and stability through the legs, and we're going to find lightness through the arms. Bring your fingertips to your side. Imagine you have a little piece of fruit underneath, and then we're going to rotate and inhale and lift the arms up. Shoulder height and shoulder width. And then we're going to float down as we sink into our legs. Upper arms, forearms, and palms. Inhale, push up. Exhale, fold. Sink down. Can you find a wave of movement through the whole body? Light and airy through the arms. Relaxed but extended through all the joints. And most importantly, feeling that stability and balance, that strength building through the legs. You're growing roots into the earth, feeling heavy through the lower body, flexible through our spine, and letting those arms float up and down like waves moving through the ocean. Big breaths, drawing all that new energy into the body. Let's do a couple more. The slower you move, the more time you have to work through each movement. Let's do one more round after this. Pushing up and then settling down. And stand up. Return to that original position, fingertips brush the side. Now we're going to experiment with folding into our hips and lifting one heel. So we're going to sink down a little bit and turn and lift the one heel. So how do you fold into that hip? We keep the leg in line and we want to think about folding. Find a rotation. Okay, so finding rotation, keeping both knees in line with our toe direction. Warming up the hip flexors, finding that mobility and strength at the same time. Now see if you can do the other side. So shift your weight to the other side a little bit, and then can you fold? Being very aware that the weight is over, say, the left leg, and we're keeping that knee in line as we turn. And then I'm going to show you a variation on the swinging of the arms. But I want you to find this movement first. So the torso turns, the hips are going to turn a little bit, and we're folding into this hip joint or quad area. So we want to keep this area open, but we also want to be able to fold through the hips. Okay, come back, find your neutral position. We all know this gentle turning that we've done, letting the arms swing and keeping our hips facing forward. This is really great to find movement through the spine or that middle lower back area, which we call the waist in Tai Chi. Now, we can also do this same movement with lifting of the heel. So come back to center first, and then see how could you turn and lift your heel. Turn and lift the heel. And then go from side to side, but don't lose the alignment in your legs. And this is why I choose to focus on the waist or the spine turning, because lifting of the heel can cause kind of wonky things to happen in the legs. So slowing it down, can you find movement through the hips as you turn and you lift a heel? Notice how different this feels by including that lower body. Let's do one more round, both sides lifting, and then come back to center and just ease off for a moment. Find your middle ground, and then come back to our kind of normal variation where we just turn. Do you feel a difference in your hips, in your lower back, now that we have that neutral hip and we're turning from the waist and spine? Deep breaths again. That's the goal through our whole practice, and ease off. So slow down that turning until eventually we come back to neutral. We're going to bring our feet together, knees together. We're going to bend down, keeping that tailbone tucked, and we're going to do small circles. So we circle around, and it's up to you how big or small of a circle you want to make. Find the connection to your knees and your ankles. Feel the joints starting to find a little bit more movement. Feel the weight shift on your feet, moving from the outside, the ball, and the inside, shifting back and forth. Deep breaths. And then we'll go the other direction. So a few circles, the head's just gazing down so that it's in a neutral position. Length through the spine. And we're just really trying to find these circles. So feeling everything starting to move a little bit more. Let's do one more this way. And then come up. We're going to separate the feet about shoulders width or a little bit more. We're going to sink down into our legs. And now we're going to bring both knees inside a few times. So you bring your hands down on your knees again, and we're going to think, can you find movement inward? So circling again, but we circle in and then out. How is the knees and the hips working together? So finding rotation through the joints. Feeling that weight shift in the feet again. Small circles will do a lot for your body. Don't feel like you have to make giant circles. The movements will come. This might take some coordination to really think about what it feels like to bring the knees to center and then circle back out. And then we're going to go the other direction. So that means we're going to come in, forward, out, and back. So we're making the same circle, but just the other direction. We're opening up all the energy pathways in the body. We're making the knees healthy and strong, circling and finding that movement. Now the knees are hinge joints. That means they only go forward and back. But we can still find movement in this way to help the blood circulate a little bit more, to help the fluid start moving around a little bit more, just helping our whole body. Okay. Do one more this way, and then release, come up, stand up tall for just a moment, and we're going to do one more variation. This variation, we're going to take those knees even wider, or feet even wider apart. So about double shoulder wide, a really wide stance. Now we're going to do kind of what's a figure 8. So we're going to alternate one knee and then the other. So we can start in center, and then we're going to take that left knee forward, out, and then back. And then the right knee is going to go forward, out to the side, and back. And we're going to keep circling. So we're doing one, and then we're doing the other. And you could have your hands on your thighs now. You're aware of where the weight is in your feet, and you're finding your own flow. So you can move a little bit faster or a little bit slower, whatever feels good. But we really just want to focus in on how this feels from one side to the other. Do you feel your hips, your knees, and your ankles all working together? You might start feeling different muscles activating through the thighs. We're bringing in a strength aspect to build stability in the knees, but we're finding the circling to let blood and energy flow freely. So here's the challenging part. We have to go the other direction. So can you go back and around? So we have a natural way that we want to go, and then we have the opposite. And the opposite is going to require a little bit more thought. And this might take a few rounds to kind of really find your flow. This is a big coordination of moving from one to the other. As we're here, how's your lower back? Is it relaxed? We're still lifting through the crown of the head. We still have that spine nice and straight, and we're just flowing through the legs. Let's do a couple more this way. Last one, finish it off. Find center. Inhale, lift the arms up. Just find a little bit of length through the body. Big stretch through the hips, and then relax everything down. Bringing those feet together, however you want to get there. We'll just come back to shoulder width apart. We're going to work through those hips a little bit. So hands on the thighs, hips are just free swinging. Circle around. Find some more movement. Imagine your lower back is starting to release. The hips are starting to soften as you press forward and out to the side. Nice deep breaths. Use this opportunity in a more neutral stance to breathe all the way down to your belly again. Let's do a couple more rounds, and then we'll go the other direction. Completing one more circle, and then switching it up. So other way. Big breaths. Feel that weight shift in your feet again. Find that rotation through the hips all the way around. We'll do a couple more circles, really pushing out. And then come back to center. We're going to take those feet just a little bit wider. And now we're going to come in with a little bit more torso movement to release the hips and the lower back. So we're going to circle from the torso. So we're going to fold forward from the torso and then come up and around. Now, depending on you and your body, you might do a small circle. And you might not lean forward very much. You might feel like you can really fold into it and then come all the way up. You have to engage through the abs. Think about releasing that lower back as you fold forward. You might get a little bit of stretch through the hamstrings. Find what feels best. Do one more circle going this way. Coming up, and then we'll switch it. So folding forward the other way. Trying to keep your hips level. Find that release in your lower back. Feel the hamstring starting to open. Check in on your breath. Okay, a couple more. Make it your own. What feels good? One more. Coming up. Lift up tall. Inhale, arms up again, just finding ourselves neutral. Lift up through, find length through your spine. So reach, 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 and then float down. Release. Okay. We're going to grab onto that chair or piece of furniture, whatever we have close to us. This is a great thing to help open up through our hips. So we're going to start with a swinging across and open. So have the chair on your standing leg side, and we're going to lift up the opposite leg. We're going to come across, and then we're going to open. So we want to think swing and open. Now, you have a couple of options for that. You can swing and keep the leg open the whole time. That's really going to kind of open up a little bit more, require a little bit more strength, or lift and then bend. But your goal is to go across your body first and then see how far you can open. This is going to challenge the stability in this leg. Make sure you're not locked out on that standing leg, and you swing and open. And you can swing and open. Now, eventually, if you want, there's many different methods for this. We can always include more of a swing and open, swing and open. This comes over time. Swing and open, swing and open. So engaging through your abs, find that stability, kick, open. across, and open. Feel everything starting to build in this area. And then one more, and we're going to switch. So grabbing that chair or turning the other way, same thing. Find your stability first. Then we're going to think we go across. So we're going across the body. Then we're going to lift up and open. So across and open. Remember, don't lock out this leg. Find yourself picking a point to stare at, lift and open. So it's up to you if you want to keep that leg straighter. Take your pick, okay? There's so many options here. It's about how can you find openness through your hips. So up to you. Open. Open. We're going to do a few more rounds on this side, and then we're really going to release the hips with a nice swinging motion. So lift and open. One more, lift and let go. Okay, shake out the legs. Might be feeling it a little bit. Now's the time to let go. So we'll switch back to the other side. Holding on. We're going to swing this leg forward and back. We're going to see how much movement can we find through this leg. And we're going to think we're kicking up, toes up to the sky, and then release the toes back. Your foot might touch the ground a little bit. And we're just going to keep swinging back and forth. Can you release through this hip? So what can you do so that your balancing leg isn't locked out and this is flowing back and forth? You might hear that gentle click of the floor. This is where you could stand on a yoga block or a brick. But the goal, release the lower back and the hip right now. Let it go. You could do this 100 times if you wanted. Okay? It's up to you. Let's do 2 more on this side. Up, back, back, and then slow it down. Okay. Starting to feel a little bit more movement through the hips. Let's do the other side. Again, both feet are straight. We find that balance. Leg is not locked. Lifting up tall so then we can swing through, toes to the sky, toes point back. And you can lean into it a little bit if you like, or just try to stay vertical. A little bit more release through the hips then. And check in on your breathing. So, are you still breathing down to your belly? Try to let the lower back release, let the hips release and open. The knees should be in line with that standing foot. We're using the abs still, but we're mostly focused on just releasing this whole hip area. This is really good for your knees. Couple more swings. Okay, easing off. Then come back. Okay, going to take those chairs to the side. We're going to take a moment and we're going to notice the difference right now in our footwork. So take a second, ground and root to the earth. And I want you to inhale and lift the arms up again. Find length through the front of your body. And then release down. 2 more big breaths. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, relax down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. The last thing we're going to talk about is how we walk. So the biggest impact to our lives is daily activities. So how we walk really affects this. We want to be aware of our foot direction as we walk. So if we start walking slowly, we touch with the heel, the ball, and the toes. And we shift forward. And then we step heel, ball, toe. Bending your knee. What happens? Your heel lifts on that rear foot. And then your toes. And you step forward. And then come to neutral. Okay. Walking backwards can really strengthen our knees. So we're going to walk back. We don't want to stomp. We want to do the same thing. So we shift over and we're going to touch with our toes. Then the ball of the foot and the heel. And then we're going to lift our front toes and we're going to touch toes, ball, heel. Lift your toes on the front foot. So we're reversing this and we're slowly walking backwards. And we're slowly going, how far can you go back in your space? And then we come to neutral. Now, stepping again, heel, ball, toe. Keep these two lines between your feet. Moving slowly, heel, ball, toe. Lifting that back heel. So every time we touch and we roll the whole foot, then we lift up that back foot slowly and we touch again. And then we'll come to neutral. So then we can move back. And when we move back, we touch with our toes first. Then our ball of our foot and our heel. Now see if you can lift the front toes. And then touch with those toes. So how we walk with intention is going to affect our whole body. So something as simple as checking in on how you walk or how you stand is going to make a big impact on how you feel. Let's go forward one more time. Moving as slow as possible, feeling the difference so that we're moving intentionally, and then come back to shoulders width. Find your center. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Gather that energy in, and then bring it down the whole body. Centering, relaxing through, feeling the difference in the lower body. That energy is flowing freely, and we release. 3 more times. Inhale up, exhale down. Big breaths all the way through. Last one. Moving the slowest. Release and relax down. And then hands return to the side. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're feeling that energy flow after. That's really what it's all about, so that we can live our best lives. If you'd like to know more about me and these healing practices, find me on Facebook and Instagram at Lady Tai Chi. Make sure to visit my website, ladytaichi.com, where you can join the newsletter and be the first to know about all the great new things coming soon. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you soon.